Picture this. You're in the perfect lesson plan. Your activities are fun, and you know your subjects inside and out. But the moment you start teaching, everything falls apart. The kids are confused, parents are sending angry emails, and your principal is scratching their head. What went wrong? Today, we're conquering Competency 007, effective communication. Here is the ultimate truth for teaching exam. Ready? Bad communication can ruin even the best teacher. Good communication makes everything else work. Today, we're breaking down exactly what you need to know to ace this section of the test. The big surprise, what actually causes problems? Now, you might think teachers struggle with speaking clearly or knowing their facts. Nope, most teachers are great at verbal communication. The exam wants to know if you understand the real danger zones. According to the test, the biggest problems come from nonverbal and written communication. These are the following: tone of voice, body language, electric communication, aka emails, texts. These three are the big troublemakers. Let's look at why, starting with the classroom. Let's talk talking to students. When you're talking to students, the exam looks for a few golden rules. First, use language they actually understand. Match your words to their age and background. And remember, never criticize a student for asking you to explain something again. If the student doesn't understand, it's your fault, not theirs. Harsh? Maybe, but that is the mindset you need for the test. If a student is confused, you don't just repeat the same words louder. You change your approach. Here are a few examples. As a light bulb, a chart as a graphic organizer, two people talking, peer interactions. The test loves three tools for confused students. Give them concrete example, draw a graphic organizer, or let them talk it out with the partner. Also, watch your tone of voice. If you say, "That's interesting answer" with a sarcastic smirk, the student feels humiliated. If you say it with a curious smile, they feel valued. Some words, same words, totally different result. Skill questioning and wait time. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this section. The examiners love questions about skilled questioning and wait time. To extend learning, look for answer choices that start with how, why, or what if. But asking the question is only half the battle. You need wait time. Most teachers ask a question, wait a second, and call on the first hand they see. Bad move. Good teachers use a wait time of 3 to 5 seconds. Why? It gives slower processors and English language learners time to translate and think. More kids raise their hands and the answers are way better. Don't just call on the same three kids in the front row. Use strategies like think and pair share or random popsicle sticks to get everyone involved. The 6 repetition rules. Did you know it can take up to 6 repetitions for a student to truly remember information given out loud? Saying it once is never enough. When given directions, use multiple methods like say it verbal, write it on the board written, show a picture visual, and show them how to do it. Model. Let me break it down. The 6. We have verbal, say it out loud. Written, put it on the board. Visual, show a picture. Modeled, demonstrate exactly what to do. Repeated, say it more than once. Checked, ask a student, what are we doing right now? To confirm they get it. By hitting all these methods, You ensure no students get left behind just because they missed a single spoken sentence. Electric communication. This is the number one danger zone. Let's talk about the internet. The exam states that electric communication causes the most trouble because it is almost instant, but totally lacks interpersonal op- opportunities. There's no facial expression, no body language, and no tone of voice in an email. So let's look at the three rules. Number one, assume everyone can see it. Two, never type what you wouldn't say to someone else's face. Three, keep personal and professional. Keep personal and professional completely separate. If you get an angry email from a parent, never reply immediately while you're upset. Wait, cool down, and write a professional, factual response using school email. Never your personal phone or social media. Know your audience. Finally, remember that you have four different audiences and your communication goals change depending on who you're talking to. So, first, with peers, you're collabing on equal footing. Second, with supervisors like principals, you need to be professional, concise, and respect the chain of command. And three, with parents, you are building a positive partnership. Know your goal before you open your mouth to start typing. Let's practice. Let's see if you can spot the right answer using what we just learned. Question number one. A teacher says, "Good job," with a flat, bored tone and no eye contact. The student is confused. What does this show? Let me give you wait time. If you said nonverbal communication matters just as much as words, you're exactly right. Question number two. A teacher asks a question, pauses for 2 seconds, and calls on the first hand. What are they missing? You got it. Did you say appropriate wait time? You need 3 to 5 seconds. The one thing you need to remember, if you get stuck on the test, look for the answer choice that focuses on skilled questioning, wait time, and adapting your communication so every student succeeds. Thank you so much for watching. Please drop a comment below if this made communication clear for you. Hit the subscribe button and go crash that exam. You got this. See you next time.